if our team ever has a chance at changing this world for the offspring that aren't even here yet, I've got to lock arms with that person and make sure that if they're in a fight, that I'm in one too. If they're in a fight, I'm in one too. And guess what? You were wrong. Dude, don't do that again. We're going to take care of him, but don't you do that again. Right? Get away. I'm going to fight him. I said, get away. Dude, if you do that again, now you guys are going to fight. But I'm going to lock arms, and I'm going to turn on him. I'm with you! Now, he made as angry as he made me. My son would tell you, he probably thought he wasn't going to graduate. Thank you. Everybody give it up for Jerome. You probably thought you weren't going to graduate. Right. Now, I'm sure when he came to me, the words I gave him was very encouraging. Do you remember where that was? Anything like it? So, trust me. It's all good. It's going to be taken care of. And by the way, I have an obligation as the family leader. I've got an obligation to provide that. I have an obligation that even if it's my responsibility not just to provide the rules, but also the hope. So I said, here's how we're going to do it. I'll go see him, but you're going to work for this deal. Oh, you're going to definitely have to work for this. And we're talking them into letting him go to the nearest college and take a placement test. If he could pass enough to be able to get into, to be accepted there, the high school had no qualms. A high school's job isn't to raise my children, that's my job. So you can forget that, Mr. Principal. I'm raising them. If your job's preparing for college, let's see if you've done well. And if he does, you will let him graduate. The guy swore it would never happen. This kid, I don't know how bad his grades were, but they were horrible. They were in trouble. He made me look like a scholar. But the truth was, I knew what the potential he had, like most kids. They want to belong to something that's important. All the fun kids, the kids that had fun and all that stuff, he just got all involved with that junk. So I had to give him that one-on-one talk about just throwing his life away, and then, together, we went to fight. You know what often happens? We throw them out with the bathwater. Can't believe it. Your brother wouldn't like that. Your grandfather would be ashamed. Next year, you're on your own. Don't worry. I'm not talking to anybody personally. I'm just telling you, this is who I was. But it changed everything. The guy that really took us up to in our family, took us up to those astronomical numbers in a day. When I got to a point where I was like at $80,000 or $90,000 or something like that in one day, he was a large part behind it. Everybody was behind it, but his role was pivotal. If I would have thrown out the bathwater, it wouldn't happen. Oh, I'd probably be off somewhere, telling an argument with my son on the phone somewhere while I'm in the car or something. I don't know. But here's the deal. You don't have to accept a lot of junk from your kids, but you definitely, or your parents, or whoever they are, you do have to accept it from your parents, excuse me. But you want to just, all right, well, like gadgets, man. I'm just not a gadget dude. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm going to hold it. So, bottom line is this. With that song, we made many different entrepreneur songs. How many of you probably been to their website? It's called YTC Music. And you can actually, it's all digital. You can download it for an iPod or something there. We talk about next to building a team. There's a song called The Championship Team. There's a song called, oh my goodness.
Put it on your pants pocket. Right there, the pocket. No.
Hey, we all make a good team in this room. Check it out. Right? So now, I'm going to be transparent with you. I'm going to open up the door. But as I do that, I'm going to share with you something I have here. I'm going to go online and show you what our daily function looks like. Because, I mean, you're thinking, okay, you got this family business, but it still doesn't make sense to me. It sounds good, but really, how does it work? I'm going to show you that, and we're going to go to lunch after that. Dwayne, could you do me a favor, dude? Can you have them open that other door over there so it's open? Is that other door over there closed or open?
Pretty sure it's open.
Why don't you open that one too? I'm not afraid of people out there. Go ahead, open. Yes, sir. So I pass out. Y'all are wonderful people, but I'm not looking to get mouth to mouth today. Okay? So, from our family business inspired the next generation of entrepreneurs. By the time, I met you when, Antoine Green?
January 2007.
February 2007 or January?
January.
January 2007. Didn't I say in 2006 we got started with that other stuff, and by January we started in a different kind of a business. I ran into different people in my life, and I saw in 2007, I saw my son there, I saw a new acquaintance there, I saw Tony Vargas, Dwayne Golden, I saw my nephew, I saw people begin to make the kind of money that adults made after going to college and stuff. And I just tried, we gotta somehow let our world know what's going on. We have to somehow let them know that you don't have to be trapped. To have someone stand up in church and say, somebody pray for me, I need to find some work soon, or this is going to happen. Somebody's got to let them know that the world that our schools have prepared these people for no longer exists. So we have, on this CD series called The Next Generation, from Dallas, Texas, a young girl who, Agati Miracle was her name. Agati Miracle created her own flip-flop line at the age of 12. Which started off as kind of like a gimmick. They were cute and was kind of wear them. Next thing you know, people started asking for them. And by then, a friend of the family said, that's a pretty cool idea. What if do you mind if we market them X, Y, and Z and take them elsewhere? Before you know it, this 12-year-old is the big breadwinner of the house. They not only had a flip-flop line, they started a bag line. And selling them online and offline and making more money than both parents combined. Flip-flops, really? What years? I think 2005 or 6 is when they started. By the way, flip-flops were in back then. Remember, girls can go to green ones, and pink ones, orange ones. Flip-flops were in, right? Well, these had little furry things on the edges of them. And they made a fortune. So I had to interview her. I'm like, I want to talk about what this next generation is bringing to the table so we can stop slapping around and rejecting them. So I interviewed them on this series. Another young lady. She was 12 at the time. Motivational speaker who spoke with some national people. 12. Was also an amazing artist. I mean, she'd have some of this kind of stuff. She brought it that day. I met her in Dallas, Texas. She came to one of my events, and she had her stuff around the room. She was an amazing singer. And also preparing for the next Olympics. She was already on her way to the Olympics as I think a swimmer. Wow, there's somebody that wasn't one-dimensional. Even though they tried to make us into one thing, she did all this cool stuff and was the breadwinner of the family. Mom's job was to travel with daughter and make sure she was her guide, her coach, and her agent. It was wild. I'm so blown away with what's in this world, in this next generation. Just because they're different doesn't make them bad. They don't go out and shovel snow like we did. They don't walk 20 miles for school like we did. Right? But it doesn't make them bad. They bring something to the table. We've got to learn to embrace who they are. Did you know that when we were walking 20 miles in the snow to get to school, our parents were really disappointed with us too? Right? Because we weren't doing what they were doing. They were cooking dinner and working in this horse stable, right? And didn't get to go to school. Everybody's story changes every generation. But if we begin to embrace it, you can see what's possible. We interviewed... You're not on that one. You're on the family Preneur.
Yeah.
We interviewed Daniel. Daniel was the kind of kid. I told you he's out of the box. He doesn't fit in the box. We go to Best Buy. I go buy some things for myself. Here's Daniel. He's always been Mr. Techno Gizmo. He'd sell one of these, couple of these, couple of this, that, and the other. And he's the kind of kid who really tried to... He knew his friend who worked at Best Buy going to school with him. So his order came to something over $1,000. Daniel pulls out all these hundreds and so... And I'm like, she says, what are you doing? What's going on, man? I had to interview him. Dude, you make so much money. He literally would take orders from people. He charges a good bit of money to do these covers for authors and all that kind of thing. And he really began to build this huge nest egg. So we interviewed him. We interviewed Antoine. Antoine worked for the FCC at whatever age. What age did you start there, dude?
17.
17 years of age. But at the same time, he was hired by companies like mine. I had to use his resources. What he learned about websites and technology, I knew I needed someone like that. And at that time, this is what, 3 years ago, I mean, in order to get his services, it cost $1,500 a month for me, just for that. That's how powerful, I mean, I'm just telling what kids can do. And he worked for the FCC. So I interviewed a lot of these young people in the next generation because I truly believe that the more we tap into it, the better off we're going to become, the better off we'll be. And the ones you start with, the ones that you're at home. Charity always began at home. It didn't just begin now because you hear it. It always was to start there. So Daniel, if you could take my laptop and put it right there for me. Not you. No. Antoine, can you get my laptop for me, Dad?
Where's it?
Right there. Right in that bag. And plug it in right here. I want to be transparent for a minute. I'm going to share with you guys. I mean, how many of you guys, he's like, okay, it all sounds good, but how do you plug it into business? Here's the deal. If you think you are a network marketing company, you lost. No wonder you can't see your family. Yeah. You turn them off. You turn off your wife and your kids. All you talk about is a network marketing company. When we want your time, you're there. We want to use the phone, you're on a phone or a conference call. When we need you to show up for our game, you got to go to the annual conference, so we don't want it. I don't care what you tell us about it. We turn them off. So not only do we turn off our wife and our kids with it, we start to annoy everybody that we know because we didn't realize who we are, so we go around promoting a company somewhere. Oh, you got to get this, they're amazing, and the owner does this, and so-and-so does this, they're that. What about who you are? I have to scream that because I don't know if all of you hear me very well. What about what God made in you? Well, our success started when we didn't promote outside. We promoted inside. That's why you're at a Family Preneur conference and not at the YTV conference. You understand what I'm saying? It's a whole different paradigm, but that paradigm must exist, otherwise you're going to always be one of the 97%. 97% of our world is mediocre, average at best, just getting by, and part of that what we call the middle class, so to speak. The way to get out of there isn't to fall down to a lower class. The idea is to, how do I develop inside of me to become more?